Welcome to Flow. Let's get started. Today we'll start off in a child's pose position. Bring your big toes together, open your knees wide, send your hips back to your heels, bring your forehead down to the ground. And take these first few moments just to come into your body and bring awareness to your breath. With every inhale, feel your ribcage expand side to side, front to back. And with every exhale, feel your hips sink a little heavier to your heels. Start to add some movement by lifting your hips, rolling yourself forward. Lift your ankles, drop your hips, open your chest for upward facing scorpion, and then push yourself back to child's pose. And continue to ripple through your spine and move forward and backward between these two postures. And try to make this as juicy and ooey gooey as possible through your spine. So you're really unfurling through the spine, unfurling through your vertebrae. And if you'd like to go a little bit slower, go ahead and do that. You can linger longer in either one of these postures if that feels good. Just make sure that you're bringing your breath into these movements. Take one more and meet in a tabletop position. From neutral tabletop, we're going to start to work the right leg. So bring your right leg directly behind you, keep the bend of your right knee, and then just pull your knee to your chest. So we're just experimenting and exploring with some flexion and extension into the right hip. So this doesn't have to be a huge movement. Try to keep your back as still as you can, and just let the movement come from your hip and your leg. Now hold the leg up. You could stay there, or you could lift your left arm and maybe catch your right foot for a tabletop dancer. Just an option. Wherever you are, even if you just have the leg lifted up, keep it there. And then release the foot if you've got it. And then bring everything back down to the ground, back into tabletop. We take left side. So lift your left leg. You've got to bend with your left knee. And then just start to pull your knee in and release. So again, we're coming into flexion and extension through the left hip. And this doesn't have to be a big movement. Your back might move a little bit, but try to keep things really sturdy. And now keep your left leg lifted. You could just stay right there, or you could reach your right arm up and around and catch your left foot for a tabletop dancer. For this option, kick your foot into your hand. Maybe you take a lift of your chest or lift of your gaze. Actively push down into your left palm. And then slowly release everything and bring yourself back into a tabletop position, hands down, knee down. From your tabletop position, flip your toes under, move to downward facing dog. Take a few moments in your first downward facing dog. If you want to pedal through your feet, buzz through your lips, maybe find a little bit of movement through your head. And then find a neutral position and lift your right leg up into the air. Bend your right knee, open your hip. And now pull your right knee to your chest, to your nose, try to make contact. And we do that again, three-legged dog, bend your right knee, open your hip. And then exhale, pull your right knee to your nose, contract in. Last time here, three-legged dog, right leg up and back. And then exhale, right knee, pull to your nose. From here, step your right foot between your hands. You're in a low lunge. Keep your back knee lifted, reach your arms up off the ground for high crescent lunge. Pull your shoulders down your back, breathe here. Feel nice and tall through your spine, really rooted and grounded through your legs. And now start to shift, launch your weight forward onto your front right leg for an airplane pose, an early balance. Square your left hip down to the mat. Pin your shoulder blades together. Feel the growth through the back of your neck and out of the crown of your head. Bend your bottom knee and find a shorter stance so your back heel is lifted high up off the ground. Take your left arm down and around towards your left thigh, and then start to find a little bit of a back bend. Think of reaching your right fingertips up to the ceiling, maybe a little bit back. Your left fingertips can be on your lower back, or maybe they trickle down to your calf. Bring yourself back up and step your left foot forward to a chair pose. Extend your arms back long behind you. And now reach your arms out long in front of you so you feel a little more activation through your back. And then start to lower your pinkies down to the ground. Think of moving in a diagonal shape and then lift your pinkies back up. We take this 5 times total. Try to stay low in the squat, low in your legs, And we're finding some real activation into the spine here, especially the middle spine. Keep your biceps as close to your ears as you can. Keep the deep bend with your knees as you lift and lower. 5 times total. After your last time, forward fold, release your body all the way up and over. Inhale to find a halfway lift. And on your exhale, bring your hands down and step yourself back to downward facing dog. Give yourself a few moments of breath in this downward facing dog. Lengthen through the backs of your legs. Push your chest towards your big toes. Ripple yourself forward, come to high plank. And then lower all the way down onto your belly. You can lower your knees if you need some assistance. Flip to the tops of your feet. Keep your hands underneath your shoulders. Pull your elbows back, find a baby cobra. Little to no weight in the hands as you lift your head and your chest. And then lower your forehead back down to the ground. And we're gonna take that a few more times, just moving in and out of this baby cobra. Again, little to no weight in the hands. Just think of using the muscles of your upper back to lift your head and your shoulders. And then release your forehead back down to the ground. Good, and keep this going. You can go nice and slow. Really focusing on that space at the top of your back, that space between your shoulder blades. Taking this at your own pace. And now we're gonna move into a bigger position. So you can bring your hands a little further back, bring a little more weight into the hands, and then lift yourself up into a cobra pose. Pull your elbows back. Open through your chest, and then lower down to the ground, and move yourself back to downward facing dog. Lift your left leg high, and then bend your left knee and open your hip. Take a moment there. Push into your hands equally. And now pull your left knee into your chest, into your nose, contract through your belly. 2 more times with that. Extend your left leg, bend the knee, open the hip, and then pull your left knee to your chest. Last time, 3-legged dog. Left knee opens, left hip opens. Exhale, knee to chest, and then step your foot so it comes between your hands. Push both of your feet into the ground, lift yourself up for high crescent lunge. Keep your front left knee driving forward, plug your shoulders down your back. Breathe here. Energize through the crown of your head, through the tops of your ears. Stay nice and rooted, nice and grounded into your feet. And then launch yourself forward onto your front left foot, airplane pose. Try to square your right hip down to the ground, pin your shoulder blades together, lengthen through the crown of your head. You could have a little bit of buoyancy in the bottom knee. Lengthen, energize the crown of your head, the back heel. And then bend your bottom knee, find a shorter stance so your back heel is still lifted up off the ground. Lift both of your arms up, and then open your right arm out to the side and bring your right arm either to your lower back or to your right thigh. Start to lean your body back as you reach your left fingertips up towards the ceiling. So it's a little bit of a twist, just a little bit. And then step your right foot forward, meet in a chair pose position with your feet together and your arms back behind you. Now reach your fingertips forward and up to a diagonal, and then flatten your spine and try to tap your pinkies to the ground, and then stand back up. We're gonna take this 5 times total. If you start to find a little bit of rounding through your spine, that's okay, but you wanna think as much as possible having a flat and engaged spine. Pull your shoulder blades together. You'll feel your core working here as well. Try to keep the deep bend through your knees. And then after your 5th time, forward fold, release yourself all the way down. Bring your hands to the ground and step back to downward facing dog. Breathe here. Push your palms into the ground. Give yourself a few moments of breath. The spine is pretty warmed up at this point, so we are gonna start to move right into an upward facing dog from a downward facing dog. So roll yourself forward through plank, lower your hips and reach your chest forward, maybe lift the chin, and then push into your hands, lift yourself back to downward facing dog. We're gonna take that 5 times total. Keep your toes flipped underneath, especially when you come into your upward facing dog, and that's just gonna facilitate the movement. And take this at your own pace, so it takes a lot of strength, and then of course it takes a little bit of mobility as well. Think of your chest shooting between your arms as you come into your upward facing dog. And really think of rolling and undulating through the spine, especially as you bring yourself forward into this upward facing dog. Let your spine feel really nice and fluid. And then, of course, make sure that your breath is involved. You don't have to match breath to movement, but just make sure that you're definitely breathing. After your final set, meet back in a downward facing dog and come back to your breath. Give yourself a few moments of steady breath. Spread your fingers, energize your heels into the ground. Walk your feet forward, forward fold. Bend your knees and slowly start to roll yourself up to stand. Think of stacking through your vertebrae and let your head be the last thing to arrive. You're really nice and heavy here. Push down into your feet, stand all the way up. When you arrive, lift both of your arms up overhead. Really feel yourself plug down into your feet. Now pull your right elbow to your right waist. Bend your right knee, try to pull your heel to your glute. Catch the instep of your right foot with your right hand. You can stay right here, or you could kick your foot into your hand and come into your dancer pose. So you can either stay in that dancer prep, kind of like a quad stretch, or you could try to kick your foot into your hand and lift your leg, even if it's just a little bit. So this is a balance, obviously. This is a chest opener, and we're finding a little bit of spinal compression here. Slowly come out of this. Bring your right foot back down to the mat. Reach your right arm up overhead. And we switch. Left elbow down. Bend your left knee. Catch the instep of your left foot. Start off by zippering your knees together. Just stand up nice and tall here. And then kick your foot into your hand and start to charge your chest forward into your dancer pose. Actively kick the foot into the hand. Feel nice and open through the chest. Push down into your bottom foot. Give yourself a few more moments of breath, and then slowly come out of this. Reach both of your arms up overhead. Big breath in. On your exhale, hands to prayer, forward fold. Come all the way down. Inhale, find a halfway lift. Lengthen through the crown of your head. Exhale, bring your hands down. Gently bring your knees down and lower yourself down to a child's pose position. So your big toes are together, your knees are apart. You could bring your forehead down to the ground, your hips down to your heels. Just an opportunity to find length into the spine once again. Find expansion with breath. Every exhale, let your hips sink a little heavier. Move your jaw around. We take this child's pose just to find a little bit of balance after that back bend, that standing back bend of your dancer pose. Take one more big breath in your child's pose and then slowly start to roll yourself up. We're going to come to a sitting position. Stretch your legs out long in front of you. Reach your arms up overhead and then release yourself forward into a seated forward fold. Again, just taking a nice rounding through your spine after finding several back bends in this session just to balance things out. Let your torso be heavy. Find your breath here. Fill the space between your shoulder blades. Every exhale, allow your torso to get a little bit heavier. And then slowly start to roll yourself out of this position and meet in a cross-legged position. Sitting position, bring your hands to rest on your knees with your palms pointing down or pointing up, whatever feels most natural. Allow your eyes to close or find a soft gaze. And take these final moments just to come back into your body and come back to the movement, the sensation of your breath. Allow yourself this moment of gratitude, carving out this time for yourself. Thank you for joining us today. And that's your flow.